Are you a student who feels that you spend too much time studying? You are not able to prioritize what you study because you cannot distinguish between the key topics and the not so important topics in your book? Are you confused and don't know which one to focus on? Or you are one of the students who cannot retain what you study? Then this video is for you. My name is Aravind and this channel is all about helping you learn faster. If you are interested in learning, then subscribe this channel and click the bell notification. Step 1. Start from the summary. While studying, there are some common mistakes most of the students do. They start reading from the first line of the chapter. When you do that, there are chances that you may never get a good understanding of that chapter even after reading the entire chapter. So, what is the right way of studying? The authors of your textbook generally want the students to understand the major key points or some important information in that chapter. So before you start the chapter, try to understand clearly what the author wants to convey to you and or what is the objective of the author. It then becomes easy for you to get a good grasp of the chapter. Before watching a movie, most of us search for reviews on YouTube. We do this because we wish to get an outline of the movie before we watch it in a theater. Similarly, before studying a chapter, go through the summary of that particular chapter, which is usually given at the end of each chapter. This summary contains the key points and some important information that the author wants to convey to the students. Once you read the summary, you get a fair understanding of what is elaborated in the chapter. This is what is generally known as priming. So remember to start from the summary when you start studying a new chapter. Step 2 is skimming. Skimming is a reading technique which helps you to get a general overview of your study material. When you start to read a chapter, it is not necessary that you should go through every word and every comma or full stop. Instead, you can skim the entire chapter and take note of the important points, thereby saving a lot of time. Just focus on the important points alone and not those extra information or examples that is given below it. Just skip them. So how to identify what is important? The key points are always found in the introduction, headlines, subheadings, summary that comes at the end of each section, the first and the last line of a paragraph, the lines that come in the bold letter, the underlined sentences, etc. Give more attention to these. In my experience, I have seen some students misunderstand the term skimming. They just keep turning the pages without giving their attention to the important details. That is not skimming. Skimming is actually giving more focus and attention to the important points and leaving out the rest. Step 3. Highlight the important points. After skimming the entire chapter, go through each and every paragraph and highlight the important points. Since this is a very important technique which can be very crucial during the preparation of your exams, take time to identify those important lines in the paragraph. The common mistake some of the students make is that they highlight almost every sentence in the paragraph. That defeats the entire purpose of this technique. And before the examination, you will be left confused and lots of time is wasted. So take care to highlight only those important points like the keywords, the words that are printed in bold letters, the lines that describe the key concepts, etc. Be extremely selective in this exercise. You can be creative too. For example, you can use a highlighter of your favorite color, or you can use different colors according to the subjects that you are studying. For instance, if you are studying science, you can use one color for definitions, another color for formulas, and different ones for theory. But take care to use the same coloring pattern throughout the book. For example, if you use a specific color for highlighting formulas, then use the same color for all the formulas throughout the book. Step 4. Take notes. The habit of taking notes not only helps you in your studies, but will also help you in your life. This is a lifelong habit, and even great billionaires like Bill Gates follow this in their day-to-day life. There are lots of benefits in taking notes while you study. It improves your concentration power and helps you retain what you have learned. Your brain registers the information more effectively. When taking notes, your mind is able to sift through the information and decide which is important and which is not important. Thereby, the information gets stored effortlessly and efficiently in your memory. Scientific studies have proven this fact. When you study without taking notes, the learned material doesn't get registered in your mind. So take notes wherever possible. Notes make it easy for you to revise and review your portions just by going through them. Step 5. Make connections. When you learn a new concept or information, try and see if you can connect this with something which you already know. This technique may sound strange to you, but our brain unconsciously does this connecting and processing the information in many of our normal day-to-day activities. For example, when you watch a new movie of your favorite actor, your brain automatically starts connecting and comparing this movie with some of his other movies. This happens unconsciously, but when you do this consciously while studying, the information gets imprinted in your memory and it becomes easy to recall. Step 6. Revise and recall. This is the most important step one should never miss while studying. Recall all that you have studied so far at regular intervals. There are two sections in brain where information is stored. One is the long-term memory and the other one is the short-term memory. The information stored in the long-term memory fades away with time, whereas the information stored in the long-term memory gets imprinted in your memory and remains there for a long time. Any new information you learn always gets stored in the short-term memory. To get this information to the long-term memory, you should do two things. 1. Revise what you have studied so far. 2. Recall the learnt information at regular intervals. How do you do it? Soon after you study, close your eyes and try to recall all that you have learned for the day. After that, revise in regular intervals. When you do these two steps along with all the other steps we discussed today, whatever you study gets stored in the long-term memory and you can remember anything easily. Now let me give you more bonus tips. Tip number 1. Prepare a short summary of what you have learned. Do this every time you study. Tip number 2. Try to teach all that you have learned to your friend or someone you know. When you do this, the information gets stored more deeply in your mind. Tip number 3. Make it a habit to go for a walk or do some kind of exercise after each study session. Tip number 4. Try to find a practical usage for the concepts you have learned from your book. Thank you for watching this video till the very end. If you think this video is helpful, then comment, like, share with your friends and consider subscribing this channel. I will see you next week with my new video.